Hey, welcome to Miss D6 Women's Sports.
Hey, welcome to Miss D6 Women's Sports. Please like, share, subscribe, and welcome to my channel. Hit the like button on my road to 300 or more. So, I want to talk about today the top 25 of the women's college basketball. Also, the game between Oklahoma and UCLA. Some of the things that we saw, and it's kind of an eye opener for some players. So, our top 25. Let me share my screen. And, no surprise, it's still UConn and South Carolina. And South Carolina played today, and they play in-state rival, who's, of course, from a different conference, Clemson. They blew them out. They held Clemson to 37 points, but the shooting wasn't there. A lot of missed shots. It looked kind of not their own offense. They missed a lot of open shots. Latson had 12, 13 points, but she missed out a lot of opportunities. Joyce and Tessa looked pretty good. It was one of the four that was in double figures. So, let me see here. So, the top 25. So, we got UConn, we got North Carolina, UCLA, Texas, LSU, and Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma went down. I'm not sure because of the loss. USC went from number 18 to number 8. So they went up 10 spots, 10 spots, excuse me. And today place is Notre Dame. Oklahoma had a rough outing against UCLA last night. Barely moved up. NC State dropped down with the loss to USC. And so we got some interesting. It's gonna be up and down all season. With some slight upsets. You had Duke. They moved down from 4 to 15. North Carolina was way ahead. They moved down to number 11. The ACC is gonna be pretty interesting, and you got some movement there. And it's early in the season, and we still got some games where some ranked teams gonna play each other in Las Vegas and other places. And so the top 2 hasn't moved, but the coaches had number 3 is Texas and not UCLA. They kind of flip flop for the coaches poll. we'll see about Texas. They kind of ranked high. I think LSU should be, if you're going to do that, LSU should be number 4. Um, we'll see. That could change. Um, Oklahoma State we good against Prairie View, and they number 20. NC State right now is lead Maine. So those are the games of the ranked teams tonight. So these things could change anytime. Anytime these things could change. So yeah, these things could change anytime because the season's kind of early. So I'm not worried about that. It's kind of early, so we'll see who's who. But another thing I want to talk about with this game with UCLA and Oklahoma was a pretty good matchup at the time. Still a good matchup. You have it's supposed to be the battle of the bees, bets and beers. And so let me share my screen. But some players stepped up, some newer players that stepped up for UCLA. Not what you expect, first you expect Betts, Lauren Betts, and then or Kiki Rice. But we had some surprises. Let me share my screen. Hold on 1 second. All right, hold on. Let me share my screen here. So, Oklahoma Sooners, they hung in there, and about late third quarter, early fourth quarter, Bruins started to have bigger leads. The first quarter, they only lost the first quarter by 2 points. UCLA beat them by 3 points in the second quarter. So they kept hanging in there, but they just couldn't get over the hump. And the player that shocked me was a transfer from Utah. That's Gianna Nipkins. And Gianna had 20 points. She had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 turnovers. And she led everybody. So you had Jaquez with 11 and Kiki Rice with 10. Lauren Betts played 34 minutes. She had 9 points. But with the driving ability, I didn't know she could drive like that, but I know she could shoot the 3 pretty good. And she was 2 for 5 for 3, but 8 for 14 was her field goal percentage. And she gave Chavez fits all night. And also off the bench, Dugalak scored 16 points. So the players that you thought was going to score more didn't, like Kiki and Lauren. And off the bench, Angela Dugalak scored 16 points. So, for the Oklahoma Sooners, their highest scorer was Peyton Vorholst and Zaya Van. Aaliyah Chavez had 11 points, but she was 4 for 16, 1 for 4 from 3. And on the defensive end, like I said, she was getting exposed a little bit. She is a freshman. Gianna Nipkins got basically what she wanted in the game. And Reagan Beers scored 7 points. So Beers and Betts the matchup we thought we was going to see didn't happen like that. You had other players step up, or other players do different things for both teams. So the Sooners wind up losing 59-73. Now, that's not what I really want to talk about. I really want to talk about um you see these players in the NIL deal era, they come in, they demand things, which they should. If you're a top player, these schools are going to wind up making money off of you. But they like 17, 18, 19. How do we say, what, they didn't have a good game? Is that fair or foul if we criticize 17 to 23-year-olds? Is that fair or foul? So let me pull up something for you. So, is it fair or foul to state an opinion? And how should we state our opinion? Because last night, Chavez was a person on the, player to watch for this game, as well as Reagan Beers and Norman Betts, who's projected to be anywhere between a 1 and a 2 pick in the draft coming up in April. So the young lady, Aaliyah Chavez, did not play very well. And it's so much high expectations for her. And, fans could be rough, but sometimes when you come in and say, you know what, I deserve this amount of money, then you have to expect a certain amount of criticism to a certain extent, in good nature, and not attacking a young lady. So let me share my screen here. So she was the number 1 recruit of the 2025 class. Her deal is valued at $755,000, and it's part of her NIL portfolio. But when it's come down to it, it's the net worth of it is $1.5 million, and could rise. And you come in with high expectations. It's a certain way that not only for yourself, but how the fans view this, certain things. And the fans can be cruel. I don't think you should say she's a bum and all that. No, she's not. But when you come in and say, you know what, I'm worth a certain amount of money, it's great expectations. Now, UCLA is a great team. They're a Final Four team. And this team, Oklahoma, is pretty good. You got Beers, but I don't think nobody expected them to win. But nobody expected Aaliyah Chavez not only to not have an impact on the game on the offensive end, because I thought she could get her shot. That was very shocking that she couldn't get her shot. The shot she did take was not falling, and she was getting beat on the defensive end. So nothing was going right for her in this game. And people had something to say. And that happens. And so as fans of the game, how do we say, hey, you didn't play very well, without getting personal, while saying she's a bum? She's still a kid in a certain extent, but with great, when you get a certain amount of money or a certain thing, much is required from you. A great expectation is required. I'm not saying you should have won a game, but you didn't even win your matchup. You got beat and look pretty bad on defense. Sometimes when your offense is not doing good, you have to do better on defense, and that didn't happen for her. So she looked very lost out there, like she didn't have poise. She looked like a freshman playing against better competition. This is a Final Four team, and probably a Final Four team again. And people want to see how you handle yourself against competition. And this is a non-conference game. And you playing in the SEC conference. And people just wonder, how are you going to handle the quickness from other SEC teams? You have Latson, you have Raven, especially the Gamecocks. You have Madison Booker. You have Jones. You have the Tennessee players. You have Big Four. You have Jada Richards, Zaya Johnson. They got like I don't know how many guards. And so if you can't handle competition outside, even though Gianna Nipkins is pretty good, but she's not known for driving to the hole, but you made her look like she's that player. And now people are looking at you like, okay, she's the number one player, and players are wanting to play against you and prove something because you're probably making more than a lot of these players. And so they feeling some type of way. And, it could be cruel. So let me share my screen. And the fans could be cruel. So I hope she can handle this, and this can happen all year if she don't get it together. Wow. So you got Jazzy Davison playing pretty good. Like I said, it wasn't expected to be as good. It was expected to be a decent postseason team far as they make the tournament, and that's the UCLA Lady Trojans. And she playing pretty good. She lighting it up. You have Sakaya Johnson who's lighting it up, and Chavez is the number one player. So you got people saying that I can't believe they play $1 million, but she asked for it, and like I said, it takes you have to be ready for the criticism. You have to know that, hey, it's okay to ask for the money. I just want to see how she handles the pressure when she get to playing more teams like UCLA. Like I said, you're playing the SEC conference. You're playing against Big Four, Malaysia, just different players. And I'm trying to think the way she played on defense. I'm more concerned about defense because I think she can score. Last night, her shots was not falling. But the defensive part, when your shots are not falling. Grace Knox. So this is a top 10 freshman. Jazzy Davison, who's playing, she's on fire. Even Apollo twins, Mia Apollo. You have Grace Knox. So yeah, and a lot of these players like the Apollo twin, Mia Apollo, and Big Four, and I just want to see her play. How she gonna play on defense in the SEC? It's very physical. Yeah. So her matchup, it looked kind of bad because, one of the things they said that Oklahoma needed was a guard, and Reagan Beers didn't play good in the game either. And people was looking for you to kind of take it to the hole. I think she settled a lot for jump shots. So that's some of the things that people are saying. So Twitter could be cruel, and how can she handle that? I think she will handle it if she focus on the defense when your shot is not falling. Because it's gonna be some nights your shot is not gonna fall. It's gonna be some nights where um they're not letting you get to your spots. And I think she'll handle it pretty good. I think she handle it pretty good. I think she still can get to the um get her points if she focus on defense first. You know, a quick steal, get out on a break. I think the Oklahoma team, as far as the coaches, have to get her out on the break, which she thrive in. She's very athletic with that. So, you know, sometimes we could be too cruel, too um mean, and you know, like, hold on, you know, you ask for this money, and people expect a certain things. Is it fair? No. But welcome to big time college sports. Welcome to big time college sports. That's how it is. And we'll see how it plays off for the young lady. And how would you handle, how are you going to handle other games like this? Because you might have other games like this. Hope her head space, her head is in the right place as far as having a great support system. She's still a great player. It's only one game against a pretty good opponent. Nothing to hang her hat on, you know, head on. But she got to play better defense. I'm more worried about the defense part because sometimes when you play good defense, it leads to offense. So constructive criticism is good, or constructive opinions, as far as not destructive. Let's not talk about she's a bum and all that stuff. Let's keep it positive, or just say, you know what, she didn't play very well, and you know, I was expecting to see, you know, more. And it's okay for the fans to say that, especially if you're looking at other freshmen across the country. But she'll get it together with the defensive part. I think she probably look at it like, you know what, I need to get better on defense, hopefully. So this is Miss D with 6 Women Sports. I'm out. Peace.